Almost immediately after urgent court and the interdict, I receive an unknown call from a male voice which has a very urgent tone. He's insisting to meet with me because he has a surprise for me. And I say, sir, I don't know you and I don't like surprises. Also, I'm out of the country. I'm not in South Africa, so I cannot meet with you. Can you tell me what this is about? And he says, okay, they have purchased the latest model of my vehicle for me as a gift. But in presenting it, there are terms and conditions. So I tell him I don't like freebies and I don't accept gifts from people I don't know. I don't need a car. I don't need anything. So I thank him profusely and I say thank you very much for your kind gesture, but please don't worry about me. I'm good. About a day later, I'm on holiday now. About a day later, I receive a call from my butler in South Africa, and he says there were urgent papers served on him like a minute ago. And I ask him to read. Then I realize that Standard Bank is challenging the interdict. So I cancel everything, I fly back home, and I start preparing papers. The first problem with the papers is that they're only challenging my daughter. They're calling my daughter to court. My name doesn't appear anywhere, and the fight is against my daughter. So I do a joinder application to be enjoined as a party. I motivate why I'm supposed to be a party to this process. And then I respond to their papers. We file everything. We go to court. I think it's the 22nd of December, 2016. This matter lasts for 3 days because Standard Bank thought it's just going to be a hit and run. They bring top lawyers and senior counsels. We've got no one. It's just my daughter and I. So we go, and my attitude that day is that I know Standard Bank has got deep pockets, but I have a brain, I have integrity, and I have all the evidence I need to prove my case. We get to court, they refuse to allow the judge to hear me. They put my daughter on the stand. They are grilling this child. They are tearing her into small pieces. At some point, I realized that, what is this? Like apartheid times. I'm being bullied for something, I've done nothing wrong, and I'm being bullied like this. I remember feeling the table. You know, they've got those wooden tables. I remember feeling the table to feel, does it make a sound that people can attend to me? And I started like madly, like banging my head on the table. I started banging my head on the table. And I remember it was Judge Fourie. I remember the judge said that there's something wrong happening there. What's happening? So my daughter is not like me. She's very calm. She calmly said, Judge, she wants to speak. It's her car. It's her money, it's her case. But Standard Bank is deliberately preventing her from defending herself. This has got nothing to do with me. I've never owned a car of this sort. I've never opened an account with Standard Bank. I've never opened an account anyway. So it is her account and she wants to talk. And Standard Bank objected. They objected. I went crazy. The judge said, are you under oath? I said, yes, I'm under oath. I did the joinder and I did the responses. It's signed by me. The judge says, I'll hear you. I stood up and I started telling the judge what this is about. Again, this is urgent court. The judge has not had a chance to look at what this is all about. I go to town. I tell the judge step by step where all of this started. I show the judge everything I utter I have a paper to prove it. I show the judge everything. I explain how I've driven less than 1,000 kilometers on this car. Less than 400 kilometers it was. I show him the affidavit from the Rosebank police station. I show him that the car has been parked for 17 months. I haven't had pleasure to use this car. I show him the account with the 17 installments. I tell him step by step. I show him the report to show him how Standard Bank works. I show him how they got the order to take my car. I show him everything step by step. Standard Bank is going crazy trying to object from me talking. The judge said, sit down. I tell the judge everything step by step. The judge says, Standard Bank, these two people are laymen. You are here with senior counsels. Your papers are all over the place. These people have got paginated bundles of the same of the correct amount. Their papers are impeccable. The judge says, in my life, this is in a transcript. The judge says, in my life, I have never seen a more meticulous client. He says, I can't take this person's car. Everything she has done, I can't take it. I can't find fault in her. So what I need is that we adjourn. I need to go and read these papers. I need us to adjourn, come back tomorrow, and you come and tell me more about this story. So we go home. And from the holes that I had in court that day, I start putting together. Do you hear when I say everything? I start unpacking everything. I put everything step by step to prove my case to the judge. We go back the following day. I talk the entire day. The Standard Bank's senior counsel is busy saying, do you have any more to say? Or can you stop talking now? I just ignore them. I go on and I tell the judge what this is about. The judge says, I'm sorry, I can't take this woman's car. Then my daughter asks to stand up and talk. My daughter says, first of all, here are the cases. This is not even an urgent matter. Here's the cases that prove that if a matter has got a record, like it was like 1,000 pages, a record this high, it cannot be in urgent court. So this matter does not even belong in this court. The judge says, do you have a case? And now I am shaking because I don't know what this child is talking about. She produces a case. When I was sleeping, she was doing her own research. She produces all the cases that support what she's saying. And the judge says, that's it. I need time to go and read. Long and short, 3 days later, the judge says, Standard Bank, I'm sorry, I can't take this woman's car. I give them my keys, I said, to prove that I'm not even using the car. Here are my keys to the car. But nobody is touching my car. The judge says I can't take her car. And actually this case does not belong in my court. You must go blah, blah, blah. Apply for joinder in the appropriate court and proceed with this case. But my ruling is she stays with her car. This 3-day court hearing was the crux of this case. It synthesized the matter for both parties, but importantly for the court. My biggest achievement on this day was not keeping the car, but it was forcefully draining the truth out of Standard Bank. I put so much fire in this man's belly that truth inadvertently snuck out of his mouth. In the heated exchanges, the Standard Bank senior counsel conceded. In court, this is in the transcript. He said, we can't deny it. There is indeed fraud here. And as he said that, you must remember Standard Bank does not send 4 people to court. They have very deep pockets. They send a squad. And remember, I was not a lawyer at this time. I had to conduct research to conduct this case. I was not a lawyer. I was just relying on my knowledge of finance and banking. So as he said that, the judge said, huh? And he said, yes, there's fraud, my lord. And as he said that, somebody pulled him and Le squad is sailing up. You could see what is in trouble. And he tried to recover, and he said, my lord, there is fraud, but the fraud is not from Standard Bank. The fraud is from the dealership. Yay! You know, I say this with humility, and I'm not going to mention all my qualifications, but let's just talk about the finance strand. Forget the diplomas and the certificates. BCom Finance, BCom Honors, Financial Management, Masters in Commerce, Financial Management, Masters in Business Administration, Strategic Finance, Executive MBA, Strategic Finance, PhD Finance. And with all that knowledge, you come and tell me a dealership can commit fraud through a bank? That was Alabama. I took the NATIS registration certificate of the car. I put it in front of him. And I said, bring your fraudulent installment sale agreement. Ngati, read the engine number. He read it. Ngati, read it here. It was different. Ngati, read the VIN number. Read it here. It was different. Read the year of the car. How can a car be born twice? Once 1 year and once 3 years later. Ngati, read this. Everything was changed. Ngati, the job of the biggest bank in the country, that is a financial provider to 20 million clients, they have a fiduciary duty to do things properly. The Vehicle Finance Department has a credit committee that is obliged to look at these things. You know, there's the National Credit Act where they have to look at a number of things to make sure that the person qualifies and there's no reckless lending. But there's also responsibility to the asset. Here's the difference I want to explain. You see, when you buy a house, you're going to pay it in 20 or 30 years. But the day that house is registered to your name, it is your house. A car is different. What happens is when they loan you the money to buy a car, the car remains in the ownership of the bank. The bank owns your car until the day you pay the last cent, and then they change ownership. So you are financing an asset that you have not even looked at of this amount? So now that fraud was established, I moved to the bank's complicity on deliberately defrauding unsuspecting clients. This became the main issue. With 11 years banking experience, I confidently told the judge that the dealership can concoct all the fraud it wants, but the ultimate decision to grant finance lies with the bank, and only after diligent credit assessment. You see, the NATIS registration certificate is the ID of the car. There is no form that can be filled with contradictory information. They have to match. How do you grant a loan of this amount with a form that doesn't match the ID? Just that does not make sense. So, in effect, Standard Bank financed an asset that does not exist. The car that they financed does not exist. It doesn't even have an ID. So what I did was to write to the CEO again. You go to the head. And I said to him, now that fraud is established, you have to go and look at the approval form and see who signed that form. Then you need to conduct an investigation. Imagine our Honorable General Mkhwanazi telling the country that there's rot in law enforcement. Imagine if the president would stand up and defend law enforcement. No. President Ramaphosa established a commission of inquiry. President. did Mr. Sim Shabalala establish a committee to investigate this fraud? Now there's proof. There's a concession in front of a judge of the High Court. Did Mr. Sim Shabalala even look at this fraud? So this is my question. What is he protecting? Who is he protecting? I wrote an email and I asked him directly. I said, Mr. Shabalala, who are you protecting? Today, Mr. Sim Shabalala, I ask you in front of the entire country, who are you protecting? Who signed that approval form? Who financed a car worth millions that doesn't exist, that didn't have an ID? Please answer South Africans and tell us who signed that form. And then I need you to tell us why you failed to investigate. Where is your commission of inquiry? So, judge made his ruling. I remain with the car. Standard Bank requested visiting viewing rights at a mutually convenient time. And you know I'm reasonable, right? So I agreed. Considering their investment, I felt it was a reasonable request, pending the final outcome of the impasse. We also agreed that an independent person, like a sheriff, would keep the car keys that I offered. All this detail became part of the new court order from Judge Fourie. This development, however, infuriated Standard Bank, and this became the beginning of unprecedented violence. The tide also turned a different direction when forensic reports started flowing in. If you remember, I had reported the fraud case 685 of April 2017 at Sentin Police Station. And we got tested. They are very advanced. You close your eyes and they tell you what to write with your right hand and the left hand. It's just a very thorough exam. So I had submitted both my daughter and I. And a warrant officer, Maribota, from the SAPS Forensic Laboratory in Pretoria. I had never met the person, but obviously they tested the thing, and she wrote a thorough report that confirmed that the installment sale agreement was a forgery. Then I had appointed a lady I got on the internet, Miss Terry Elmalay. This woman was very, very advanced. She would feed your handwriting and your signature into a system that then plays music, because she says writing, whilst you think you are looking, you are writing, you're actually writing with your brain. So there's no way you can forge somebody's signature, no matter how exact it looks. When you put it in this system, it tells you if they were written by the same person. Even if the signatures are different, when you put them in the system, it can confirm if the signatures were done by the same person. She wrote a scathing report, which also confirmed that the installment sale agreement was a forgery. Then my private investigator had taken us to two licensed forensic experts, and we were tested there differently as well. So when these reports came in, with my kindness, I shared with Standard Bank and I said, hey, here's the proof. And still, I called on Mr. Shabalala. I said, here's the proof that this is a forgery. You have a duty to investigate, because unless you are part of this syndicate that was exposed, there is no reason why you shouldn't investigate. What are you hiding? What are you protecting? I tell you, Standard Bank unleashed their wrath. We encountered so many violent incidents. I just couldn't cope. I don't want to traumatize you with the gory details. Unless Liwatlam goes, tell me. So at this point, Standard Bank objects to every application I make to end this ordeal. They apply for a myriad of frivolous interlocutory applications. They keep me in court permanently. I can't focus on anything else. I'm completely consumed. Whenever I return home to Switzerland, I'm immediately dragged back to court. The worst is before every court appearance, there's an incident, an intimidating incident. So I don't stop writing to all of them, insisting that this is not even a real case. It's not even a real legal problem. So I insist that we sit around the table and resolve this at once. Once we reconstruct this thing, I can pay the balance and I can go back home and we end this thing. I've had enough. Anyway, I'm waiting for them to challenge the forensic reports that confirm that they committed fraud. On the other hand, I am sitting on Mr. Sim Shabalala to investigate and tell me who this person is. I've narrowed it down for him, and I don't understand why he's not taking action. So I write to him consistently. And Mina, my politeness has an end. There's a point where I lose it. So I lose it, and I start asking them, what is this? Like really white supremacy state? Is that what it is? Where in my time, when I grew up, besiphetwe amabhunu, asiphethe njengezinja. But at least you knew ukuthi u-abuse amabhunu. Namhlanje, they are renting melanin to incite black-on-black violence. Namhlanje sihlukumezwa abantu basekhaya. So I ask this, is this what it is? I don't understand what's happening. There's joint CEOs, Mr. Ben Kruger, and then there's Mr. Shabalala. Who is who? Who has the power here? Who is being sent to abuse black people, and who is the boss? So I ask this. Anyway, I think I sent this email on Friday. On Sunday, I wake up, I go for a run with my daughter. I normally arrive back home first. So when I get home, I lock my key on my bra. I open the door, open the tap, I need water. And as I'm drinking water, I can see a set of black tights coming towards me. And in my head, I'm thinking, did this child run in front of me today? That's impossible. And as I'm thinking this, I see a second set of legs, a third set, then I know that I'm being robbed. So I rush to the door. I'm right at the door. I rush to the door so that I can come out and stop her from coming in. And as I rush out, this guy holds me from the back. He hits me. So I say, look, you can take everything you want. Tell me what you want. You can take it. Here are my keys. Take everything you want. And then bakleti izandla. So they tie your feet first, tight. And then they tie your hands behind you. And then they tie the tied hands to the feet. So they do this entire operation. At this time, bayangithuka, and they're giving me facts. Like, yeah, when I fly first class, when you do this, who do you think you are? They're on top of me. But they're telling me such accurate details, as in what seat number I sit in. So I'm thinking, what is this? It goes on, and Bati, we have to wait for your daughter. Okay? I think 10, 15 minutes later, it sounded like 10 days, but a while later, I just heard, and I knew they've got her. And I just said, it's all okay, Sissy. Just be calm and don't fight anything. Just let them do whatever they want. So I said, okay, we are here. Salasoy 2, you can take whatever you want. Where is the safe? I tell them it's upstairs. Take us there. I take them to the safe. So, Mina, I don't keep my jewelry in the safe. I keep my jewelry in different places. In the Baki flower, you'll find my expensive watch there. You'll find my ring in the washing basket. And put my jewelry in different places. So I'm thinking I must offer them the jewelry because they can take things and go. But you know, Bafuni safe. When they opened the safe, I thought they were going to be angry because there's no valuables there. It's only my important documents and flash disk, what do you call them, USB things. So I thought they were going to be upset to find this and not find diamonds. No, they open a bag and and they throw it in the bag. And I'm thinking, what the hell? Show us your study. I show them my study. So I'm meticulous with my documentation. My filing is very, very neat. They go. So I've got a block here, Standard Bank, with 16 files. All my files are white. They've got my H, ngaphandle, and then I label what file it is and what number it is. They take the entire 16 files and they throw it in their big bags. And I'm thinking, what? Anyway, they pack. This guy young shy. And so now I'm like a frog because so my hands at the back are tied to my legs. So they keep on beating. Need to go this guy, bruh. I just ran 10 kilograms. I mean 10 kilometers, 10 kilograms. I just ran 10 kilometers. I'm thirsty. Don't untie me. Just open the tap so water can come into my mouth. Drags me to my bathroom, opens the tap, and I literally empty the tap. We come back. They want a second safe. I don't have a second safe. They want a second safe. I know you won't believe me when I tell you, Uguti, for 4 hours I was being beaten up. I didn't know what this is about. Eventually, one guy, Uti, I need your discs. Need you what discs? At the camera discs. Camera discs. They're in the garage because I'm thinking like the camera instantly, you know, the CCTV. So that the cameras are in the garage. No, I want the discs. In my garage, I have a big wall of CDs. So everything is in the garage. Ati, let's go. Must be a garage. Told Linda told. What do you want? Ati, I want the files, the discs that have got the Standard Bank footage. Oh, you should have just said that. Back in my study. Go back to the study. I give them the files. And then he's threatening me. I am so angry by this time. I'm going to hit you. Need to go be a man. Untie me. Untie me and I'll show you what beating somebody up is all about. This guy gets upset, takes me, throws me to the wall, but I hit my neck so badly that I actually passed out. So when I eventually come back, I notice under my armpit, I notice my daughter is naked.